Make sure to be a member on the channel, link is in the description. Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. So thank you for all my members, Vivi and Lafouche, and be a member if you want to help the channel, it helps a lot, so thank you too for being a member. And make sure to subscribe and let's get into it. So today we are going to continue the video on the upcoming aircraft that can be added to War Thunder. I did 2 videos on the 3rd generation and a little bit just of the filling gaps that we need on the game right now. And now we are going to take a look on the future, what we can see in the far future. But not too far, early 4th generation, not too much into the 90s, not too much 2000s, but basically late 70s and 80s, so no F-16 Block 52, no MiG-35, no Sukhoi 57, no J-20, okay? We're going to just talk about the 80s, especially, and late 70s. We're going to have 2 parts of this video, so today we have part 1, if not this video would be 50 minutes, so we're going to talk about basically the main nations. The first 4 probably USA, Germany, USSR, and UK. Maybe Japan, but I don't know. And tomorrow we are going to see the rest of the nations. So yeah, there's some pretty cool stuff here. So let's get into it. And yeah, first of all, of course, let's talk about the USA just to get out of the way, because the USA is probably going to take a while to receive more stuff. Maybe the F-16 together with other nations, but beyond that, I doubt that they will receive more stuff in the near future because they just received the F-14. But we don't know. So yeah, 4 aircraft for the USA, of course, the F-16, 15, 14A, and F-18. So let's talk a little bit about the F-14A late, which would be basically the same as the F-14 that we have right now, but with a tiny little margin of a better engine. So it has the 414 and not the 412 version of the TF30. So it's a little bit better, the engine. And it has the ability to carry the AIM-9s, AIM-9Ls, and AIM-7Fs, of course, together with AIM-54Cs, better versions of the systems that we have. Maybe AIM-7Ms, so better versions of the Sparrow. Just a better version of the F-14, but not by much, It would be just a late variant of in the same way that the A-10 early and A-10A late are basically just different in loadouts. The F-14 would be the same, okay? So other aircraft, I mean, there's not much to talk about it there, but still, let's talk about a little bit. So yeah, other aircraft that we should receive probably with other nations is the F-16A. So we have multiple variants of the F-16A, the Block 1, 5, 10, 15, and 20. But to be comparable to other nations, it would probably better to have the Block 15. Would be a very good addition. Maybe the Block 20 with some seed and stuff like that in the future, but the Block 15 would be suffice, maybe with the OCU package. So comparable to the earlier blocks, it has better flight dynamics and stuff like that. It is technically the first aircraft to use fly-by-wire, so it is very, very good, and the performance of this aircraft is amazing. It has the F100 Pratt & Whitney engine. I think it's made from for Pratt & Whitney, and yeah, it is very interesting. I would like to see the Block 15, maybe the OCU variant, because we should receive then the Mavericks and stuff like that to be used. So it would be a very good and very capable multi-role aircraft, but it is very limited in the BVR department, even though it has a very, very good radar. It is the same radar as in the EJ Kai. I don't know if the Block 15 or some version of the A received a better version than the PG66 that we have in the EJ Kai, but it tends to be very similar. Being able to only carry 2 AIM-7s and 4 AIM-9s or 6 AIM-9s in the air-to-air department. So it would be able to carry basically 2 AIM-7Fs or even Ms in the future, but the AIM-7Fs together with the AIM-9P4, maybe AIM-P5, or even the AIM-9Ls. Remember, the AIM-9Ps, P4 and P5 are all aspect versions of the P variant that we already have, with the sensor from the AIM-9L on the P4 and the AIM-9M on the P5. So yeah, a pretty good aircraft, and I think it would be unfair. So I mean, Italy should receive an F-16, China and Israel should receive an F-16A, and so why not the USA? So this is probably the only aircraft that we are going to see in the near future for the USA, but I doubt that we will see in the next patch, for example, but probably soon, before the end of the year, I would imagine. Other aircraft that we see is the evolution of the Air Force and the evolution of the Navy coming to War Thunder. Of course, the F-15A. Of course, the 16A would be under the F-5, and the F-14A late would be under the F-14A early. The F-15A Eagle would be under the F-4E with the evolution. I mean, I don't have too much to talk about here. APG-63, very capable radar, very good. I don't think he was fly-by-wire, but I could be mistaken. But still a very capable aircraft, and yeah, it's just a very powerful radar. 1-to-1 thrust to 8 and stuff like that. You know, all the good things on this aircraft. Being able to carry 4 AIM-7s of the F or M variant, and together with 4 AIM-9s as well. So probably we will see also the the AIM-9 P4 or the P5 or the AIM-9L. So yeah, very good. Still is very comparable to the F-15C. It doesn't change much from the A to the C, but I think the A would be suffice for now. Maybe the C variant coming later, you know, and it doesn't change much between them, but still, yeah. The F-18, of course, being the last aircraft that we are going to talk about it in the USA, being the F-18A with 4 AIM-7Fs, AIM-9Ls, 4 AIM-9Ls as well, with the APG-65. So all these radars are very capable, very comparable to radars like in the Viggen or the Kai, as I said, but better. So the 63 and the 65 would have basically the same type of blind speeds that we see in the EJ Kai, but with better ranging and stuff like that, because they are a little bit more powerful. So yeah, and the F-18 has one of the things that is very fun about it, that is, it has a very amazing acceleration and turning capabilities, even comparable to MiG-29s, F-16s and stuff like that. But it doesn't have the most amount of top speed. Not that we're going to actually use it, but it's a fun fact, you know. Some of these aircraft can receive pods and stuff like that to carry Mavericks and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know if these variants can carry, but maybe the F-14 I know that it can, and the F-16 as well. The F-15 I know that it cannot, but maybe the F-18. It's hard to find stuff on the F-18A, but still. Yeah, but this is for the USA, so these 4 aircraft, of course, not in one patch and not early this year. It's going to take a while to see these 4 aircraft added, but in the future, you know. Another thing, of course, is Germany, another country that we should receive. The first aircraft and the main aircraft that we should receive for the air-to-air role of the German factory would be the MiG-29A, so it's the 912 variant, RD-33 engines. The radar was supposed to be a PESA radar, but they had to actually make the aircraft go into production, and they basically delayed the radar being the PESA radar for another, I think a decade at least. But the MiG-29 had basically a redesigned version, radar version of the MiG-23 one. So yeah, it's very different, but it came from that design. The R-27, of course, would be the main armament at BVR, only being able to carry 2 of them, plus 4 IR missiles, being the R-60M, or in the future the R-73. Very good capabilities. One of the main features of this aircraft obviously would be the off-bar shooting capabilities, together with the helmet mounted and the IRST. So yeah, and together with R-27s, which are very capable missiles. You know, they're just like developed versions of the R-24, so they're just really good. And yeah, basically a longer range version of the R27. They have INS, a very good INS, the R27, being able to hit targets effectively at 40 kilometers, and max range would be 60, maybe even more. So it's very long range weapon and very good at dogfighting as well. The R60M, of course, we don't have to talk about it. It's very good, but the R73 would be amazing as well. Having IR CCM and just an amazing missile tend to turn 40 to 50 G, so it's just out of reach right now, you know. But it would, if it comes to the game, it will probably be the best missile in the game, IR, you know. And the R60M would suffice for now, together with the off-bar sight and with the IRST. So yeah, would be very amazing. The R27, of course, remember, has the R version and the T version. And maybe in the future you can even receive the R27 ER and ET, because the 29 could receive those missiles, but it probably didn't in the German Air Force. But still, it's a missile that it's just an extended range version of the R27. Other aircraft that we can see, another fighter, would be the F4F ICE, or the improved combat something upgraded version of the F4F, with the F-18's radar, so the APG-65, and the ability to carry the AIM-120 AMRAAM missile. So this would be kind of a weird thing. I don't think we should receive this missile until everybody can receive this missile, maybe. But still, maybe it's a way to counter better missiles in other nations. I don't know. Maybe this will be an F4, a very high tier F4, like the EJ Kai, but with the MRAMs, and yeah, something like that. I don't know if it would be able to. I mean, if it would make sense to be able to carry that missile, but still, yeah, it's a very capable missile. Even though the AIM-120A was not the most amazing missile ever, they have very similar range to the R27 and AIM-7M and stuff like that. So yeah. Other aircraft that we should receive is the Tornado, of course, the Panavia Tornado. Probably the IDS version with the GR1 or GR4. I don't know if Germany actually used those versions, but I imagine so. They used the GR1A and maybe B versions, because they actually used in the Navy and reconnaissance. So I think it's just a matter of the version that it's really hard to find it. But yeah, bomber striker interdiction version of the Tornado, so you won't be able to carry any of the sky flashes and stuff like that, but you can carry AIM-9s and, you know, various amounts of bombs and guided stuff, which is always fun. We have also the ECR version, but it's just a seed variant with no cannon, so maybe in the far future, but not right now, you know. And USSR, let's talk about the USSR. Of course, we should receive a little bit better version than the Germans, because I doubt that the Gaijin will actually make it so that it's copy-paste. So we probably will see the MiG-29S on the USSR Tech 3. It has various amounts of upgrades. It entered service 1 year later than the A, so it's just a improved version of the A. It has more internal fuel. It can get to higher levels of AOA, you know, so angle of attack can be 2 degrees higher than the A variant. So it's just a tiny bit better, you know. Has better systems for maintenance and auto, what's it called? Like it can actually detect if it's something wrong with its own system, so that it can say to the maintenance person on the ground. And you know, it's a very modern aircraft, very good, just a tiny bit better than the normal variant that we should receive in the German Tech 3. The missiles are the same: R27R, R60M, R73, R27T, and then the 27ER and ET in the future, and maybe even the R77. Okay, the R77 entered in production in 1984. So yeah, even though it kind of entered in large-scale service in 1994, because of the political stuff happening in Russia and the USSR. It was a very early missile, and yeah, it's just one of those things that they were testing and entering production together with squadrons and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a very very early missile. To be used with the technology of Fox 3, and active missiles. But it can be added, it's a missile that it's very comparable to the AIM-120A. So if somebody receives an AIM-120A, for balance, this missile can be used and added to the MiG-29S in the future as well. So yeah, the radar and stuff like that are basically the same, but everything else, it is basically the same aircraft, but just a tiny bit better. Even had a internal ECM, so very cool. The MiG-25 PD, I have a video talking about it, so I'm not gonna talk too much about it. High altitude interceptor, no cannon, R-40s, very good missiles, and just a very good interceptor that should be added no matter what, I think, after Sukhoi 15s and stuff like that are added as well. Maybe if the 25 is not good enough, maybe we should receive the MiG-31, which the first variant, but still it's complicated because even though it has a very similar missile to the Phoenix, the R-33 can reach turning capabilities of 25 Gs and have a much larger range than the Phoenix. So together with the PESA radar on the MiG-31, it is complicated. I think it would be OP. It has a cannon, a 23mm rotary cannon, but I think it's just kind of OP. The R-32 would be a very, very, very effective missile, being able to fire at 4 targets at the same time. And yeah, it's complicated to have that missile. It's way better than the Phoenix, so I would think that would be too OP. And the last aircraft that we're going to talk about in the Soviet Union is, of course, the Sukhoi 27S. I think the S variant would be the best variant. We could receive in the P variant, but the P variant didn't get any bombs. That's basically the difference. Normally P variants are for the PVO. The P word would be like a word for interception or interceptor or something like that. So it's just kind of, doesn't make sense to have the P variant. The Su-27S would be better. The missiles are the same, even though he entered service with the ER. If I'm not mistaken, we should receive the R-27R. Like I said, the R-27T, R-27ER, and ET, together with R-60Ms and R-73s in the future. It has the IRST, amazing aircraft. It is an aircraft that is well known and just a very, very capable aircraft. There's not much to talk about. Lyuka engines, very strong, very, very, very powerful radar, and the ability to carry multiple missiles. It can carry, I think it's 10 missiles, so it would be very, very dangerous. The idea was to actually use, if I'm not mistaken, it is, let me remember, I think it's 4 R versions of the radar version missiles, plus 2 T variants, so that would be 6 missiles, together with 4 IR missiles, so or 2 IR missiles if you use the ECM pods. So it is a very, very dangerous aircraft. I don't think we should receive it right now. I think the MiG-29 and 25 and stuff like that would be more suitable, but And the last nation that we're going to talk about it today is the UK. So Tornadoes. Of course, the IDV variant, the GR1 and 4, as I said before, in Germany. So bomber striking missions after the Buccaneer, of course, because it was supposed to replace the Buccaneer. So yeah, just the normal variants that we already talked about it, AIM-9Ls and stuff like that, and bombs, guided stuff. British bombs and stuff like that. But the main variant that come after the Tornado FGR2 or the F4M, can be the Tornado ADV. So we have 2 variants, the F2 and the F3. Doesn't change much between them, but the F3, of course, is a better version. The missiles would be 4 Sky Flashes, maybe with the version with the better engine, which would make the Sky Flash comparable to the AIM-7F in range. In the future, maybe the MRAM, but in the far future, and of course the AIM-9L as well. So yeah, this would be the main version of the Tornado. Very good aircraft, a swing wing. It doesn't turn very much, but it is very fast and has a very good radar. The Fox Hunter, I think it's called. But yeah, it's a very good radar, and together with the improved Sky Flash with the engine, with the booster, I think you would be very capable, and an addition that we probably should see in the next patch together with a MiG-29 or something like that, I think, or something like that, you know. But yeah, let me know in the comments what do you think about the upcoming patches and stuff like that. We are going to wrap this video up, so we talk about the four main nations. Now we're going to talk about, in the part 2 video tomorrow, we're going to talk about Japan, China, Italy, France, Sweden, and Israel to finish up. To the video not be have like 40 minutes, you know. So yeah, I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, and bye guys. See ya.